we resolved the duct tape issue. Sheath I'm going to be dealing with tonight, I'm going to make from old trusty Gavilan machete. This machete I bought somewhere in the 80s, the middle 80s. I wanted to say it was 88, and my buddy Joe wanted to say it was an 86, and his memory a lot of times serves a whole lot better than mine. This has been one of the finest purchases I've ever made as far as the money I spent on it and how much use I've got out of it. I mean, there's no comparison with anything else except for maybe my K-bar, which is, I call it K-bar, but it's actually an Ontario Marine combat knife. It was the first one I had, and but I've made several sheaths for this one, and the one I've currently got, it's not really, it would not hold up in the weather. So what we're going to do is simply make a sheath out of this box, okay? And it's not that difficult to do, but you need to do it correctly so that the machete will go in and out, come in and out of the sheath, okay? You won't cut yourself, and you won't lose it in the woods, alright? Even if it gets soaking wet, it'll hold together. At least that has been my experience over time. You just get your normal cardboard box. But like I said earlier in the introduction, before I actually started working on this thing, if you can get your hands on some wax cardboard, you will have a fine sheath shortly, or a fine holster. If you do not know what a 1300 classic Crossman pellet gun is, pellet pistol, simply get on the internet and run a check. About this long, and it's got a pump in the front, and you cock it in the rear, and you put one BB or one pellet in the top of it, a little loading gate on the top at the time. I had that thing for years, and believe me, it worked like a charm. Anyway, you take the cardboard, get it laid out. You've already got a natural fold right here. Now this is the thing you don't want to do. You don't want to use that natural fold like that. It'll pinch the blade, okay? You want to flip the box over like this and use this side, because once you fold it this way, it'll open it up and make it bigger, which on this particular box is not working as well. So what we're going to do is take something quite a bit thicker than the blade, like this sales paper here, lay it right in there, and it'll help open that bend up. We're going to have to fold it several more times. Now think about making a holster, whether you're using leather or anything else. You can't get in a hurry about it. You just cannot get in a hurry about it, because you're not doing yourself any good. You're going to screw it up. And though this is going to be cheap and easy to make, you still don't want to embarrass you out in the field. Alright? I loaded a video last night when my bud Joe and my bud Daniel came up for the summer, and we had a great time out there learning hand-to-hand combat techniques. But he had a quote-unquote wardrobe malfunction because he let his belt get away from him, and he almost lost his briefcase, and it was quite funny. And the levity of the situation really, I think, improved the entertainment value of the video. However, in real-world situation, I do not think that's the kind of thing we need to have happen. So, I've got several other videos where we worked quite a bit longer at it, and there was no such problems as that because he got his equipment squared away. That's one of the reasons we do these things. We practice them ahead of time so we can work out the kinks, the bugs, knock out the noise and such as that. Alright, we've bent it a few times. Now you're going to take the blade, you're going to take it, the flat side of the blade, not the cutting side. You're going to lay right in there, going to fold it over, and you're going to see what fit is. Now, I didn't do very much good because it's a very, very tight fit, and that's not good enough. If it's too tight, it's just not going to work that well. And I think what I need to do is go ahead and cut off all the excess I'm not going to need and get it out of my way to be a lot easier to work with. I'm using a standard pair of cheap scissors you buy at Wally World, Kmart, Target, wherever the heck you want to buy it. Don't let your mama see you doing this. She'll beat you with a wiffle bat. Why? Because if they use their scissors for cutting cloth, you dead man walking or dead girl walking, they don't like that. Ask me how I know. Alright. We're going to have to still bend it some more. Just keep folding your piece of paper or your wood or whatever you're going to use to help you shape it. Set it right there in that crease, and when you fold it over, it'll help bend that cardboard. Alright, I finally got a little bend going right here. Probably can't see it on the camera. Don't know. Doesn't really matter right now. Alright. Now, let's see what kind of fit we got. Alright, now you see we got quite a good fit right there. Alright, next thing you need to do is you need to come out here, give yourself a little bit of play, mark it off with a straight edge, something tight. Doesn't have to be perfect. Give yourself maybe a good 1/4 of an inch. Mark it off. Let's see. I'm going to mess this up. Probably on camera if I'm not careful. Was getting all whacked out on me. So we got to fix it before we go any further. Alright. Do some more cutting. If you've never used a pair of scissors before, watch your fingers, alright? They'll cut them off. When I was a kid, my mom was a seamstress. And I know you won't laugh, a lot of you guys out there, hey, that's fine. But I learned how to use a sewing machine. Brother, we used to do a lot of wrestling because we were into the WWF and the NWA and all that. We made our own belts. My brother Chad, he had the World Championship wrestling belt, and we didn't have to get, and it wasn't made out of plastic, it was made out of cloth and cardboard inside the cloth to get rigidity, and had snaps on the back. Mama showed us how to use the snaps. Made our own belts. I wish we had pictures, but back then we were so broke. A comic book was a $1 comic book was a huge expenditure for us. So, or 60 cents. I think it was 60 cents back in the day. It wasn't a graphic novel. It was a real honest to God comic book. Alright, now, once again, we're going to use this as our jig, straight edge, whatever we're going to call it. I'm going to cut through this. But anyway, back to pole folks and their pole ways. Ain't nothing wrong with them poles. What's wrong with a lot of people who are pulling is they don't have any hope, they don't have any dreams, they don't chase after them and aspire to do better. I'm not a whole heck of a lot now. I'm a truck driver. I'm away from home a lot. I don't make the best money in the world. You know what? It's alright. I don't care. And I'm a hell of a lot better off than I was. I have my own home. It's paid for, thank God. My big truck's paid for. Pickup's paid for. It ain't much to see, but hey, I'd rather have my bills than a lot of folks out there. $100,000 house. Barely can make the payments on it. Lose the job. They're a mess. I lose my job tomorrow. I got a little wiggle room, except the IRS. Death and taxes, brother. Those are two things. That sure is that and the sun. The sun's going to rise tomorrow. You're going to pay your taxes and you are going to die. If you don't pay your taxes, somebody's going to come visit with you. Well, this is thick, thick cardboard. Got a couple of comments on a couple of my other videos. I haven't had too many because I haven't been on the internet very long. And I'm hoping that folks will get on there and enjoy them. If they don't, that's fine. I enjoy making them regardless if anybody watches them or not. But I think everybody has a little ego and they want to, you know, get praise from other folks. But it's like starting. The more fame you get, the more people want to knock you down for it. Alright. Got that done. And I should have left myself a little bit of leeway on that. So we'll just have to do it that way. Heck with it. Hey man, I'm out of practice. What can I say? Then you need to, when you get to this point, you got it where you got the bend, you got the size you need, the length, the width, and all that. You need to decide which is the top, which is the bottom. And the reason you need to do that is because you're going to have to make sure you wrap that in extra with the tape in order to make sure it's absolutely waterproof as possible. Like I said, this is a poor man's way of doing things. But if you broke, you just absolutely don't have $1 to spare hardly, and yet you want to make sure you've got a way of carrying your equipment with you. Hey man, this is the way to do it. Absolutely, without a doubt, the way to do it. Like I said, just plain old, cheap, everyday gray duct tape. You can buy a Family Dollar anywhere, you know, Walmart, Kmart, Dollar General, wherever the case may be. If you want to wrap those ends, this will keep moisture out of it and make it last a whole lot longer than it would any other way. And I think with the duct tape that I used on the holster years ago, the camouflage duct tape, I imagine I probably put 3 or 4 layers. But this here's just playing around really just to make this video. And maybe it'll help somebody out there. See how it's turning out. You already got it, your basic shape you need. You want to do the same to the inside and the back. You want to make sure it's sealed up good and tight against whatever elements. Now, for you folks over in Alabama, and I'm just kidding about this now, don't come over from Sand Mountain or wherever. I've heard a lot of bad things about this place, bad folks, and want to whoop up on folks and all that. Look, this is Alabama chrome, and you just have to accept it, that's all I can tell you. My girlfriend's from Alabama. I don't hold it against them. Sometimes I think I ought to, but I don't. She hit my duct tape from me a while ago, evil thing that she is. No, actually she's the sweetest thing in the world, I imagine. My camera can see this. I just take my fingernails and I just shove it right down that crease right there. Make it stick really good. And then just working your way out, prevent too many bubbles from getting there. You're going to get a few, but it's not going to be near as bad if you work your way out to the edges like that. Alright, now let's do this again. Same as before. And when I say you need to decide which end, really that was not correct, because unless you're going to hang it off your belt, you don't really need to do this. This one here, I'm going to have hanging off my backpack. So it's not essential that I decide which end is up and which end is down for this part of it. I mean, because I cut it too short, I was in too big a hurry, I'm going to have the blade to the inside. Okay, and that's eventually going to cut this duct tape right here. But it's not that big a factor because it's dirt cheap. I mean, you can build freaking 50 of these dang things no time flat for next to nothing. Now, when we were kids, we ran around in the swamps of South Georgia because that's the only thing we had to do. It was either that or nothing. We didn't have video games. Our parents told us to get the hell out of the house. What you going to do? Stand in there and be bored with them? I don't think so. Not that we listened to our parents like we should have. Now, if my dad and my mom hadn't divorced, I can assure you, if Dad said, get your butt out in the yard, that'd been the end of our argument. He'd knock you in the head quick. He didn't play around. He's not like these modern parents who do 1, 2, 3 count. You listen to Daddy, you're going to wind up wearing a boot in your hind end. And was my daddy abusive or mean or hateful? To my mom, it was until they divorced. But to me, no. But he meant business. If he said, we're going to do this, that's it. That was the end of the argument. That's what we were going to do. You know, if he's going to buy you something, he bought it for you. If you were in trouble and he's going to beat the tar out of you, you get a belt on your hind end. You know, he's just that kind of guy. I mean, soft-spoken, but you didn't mess with him. Like my grandmother, you didn't mess with her either. She knocked you in the head with a switch. Interesting story maybe to some folks. When I was a child, we had the local IGA in town, you know, and I went grocery shopping with my grandmother one time. And see, I had this strategy. When I got to the store, I went to the toy aisle. Or I got to the toy aisle. I found what I wanted, and I just laid down. I pitched me a fit, and I raised Cain. And I usually, with my mom, I always got my way. And I tried that strategy with my grandmother. Did not work out so well. She told me, when we get home, she didn't say, if you don't straighten up, you're going to get it when we get home. She said, when we get home, you're getting a switch put on your butt. That wasn't there wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When we got home, because I was a perfect child after that, because I knew she meant business. We got home, I thought, oh, she done forgot all about it. Man, I ain't got to worry about it. Wrong. Grandma got the switch out. Or no, she told me to go cut me a switch. And I knew then there wasn't no sense in arguing with her because she didn't play that mess. I knew right then and there it was going to be on like Donkey Kong here shortly. So I went out and was going to be a smart aleck, and I cut me a switch all right, but I cut me a little bitty one. You know, maybe that long. Well, she beat me with it until it broke. And then she said, now go cut me the right switch. The next time you only get one spanking when you cut the right one the first time. And that's exactly what happened. And you know what? I don't believe I ever pushed her to that point again. Ever. Because I don't remember ever getting another switching. I remembered that. And I'm here to tell you, if a lot of parents out there nowadays would to take care of their kids like that. What I mean by that is, my grandmother wasn't evil. She wasn't hateful. She didn't switch me until I was bleeding or anything like that. She was like my dad. She said it. That was her word. That meant everything in the world was her word. There wasn't no way going to make her into a liar, especially not no darn punk kid. I was only, I don't know, 3, 4 years old. But there's some things, even at that age, just stick with me. And that's one of them, brother. When Miss Dennison got a hold of you, that was in an argument. She would knock the tar out of you. And even my daddy, who didn't take no crap off nobody. Yes, ma'am, Miss Dennison. No, ma'am, Miss Dennison. Yes, ma'am, Miss Dennison. I had a lot of respect for my grandmother. Thought the world of her. Even way after him and my mom got divorced. Just thought the world of her. Oops. This is, like I said, this is the cheap duct tape. Alright. Now, The ends where I lapped it over just a little bit, what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to put another layer. Alright, and we're not finished with the middle. I want to reinforce the center where the blade's going to run the most. And I need to do this, cut it to size a lot closer than I did earlier. Alright. Alright. And roll it. We're not finished now because the roll only took up a little bit of it. I want to reinforce the whole edge at the top. Let's see, right about there. Alright. This one here we want to measure it out so half goes on each side as close as we can make it. That'll be a tight fit, so enough. Like that. Alright. Now we've got the inside here. I'm going to reinforce that inside quite a bit so that it doesn't split and cut very easily. Oh, and by the way, on the Alabama chrome thing, it's just a joke, so y'all don't get your panties in a wad over there in Alabama. And I'm not a football fan. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm not a dang any kind of fan. So Roll Tide, whatever, Braves, who cares? You know, I do not care. Never have, never will. I got more important things to do than worry about a bunch of overpaid, underworked slackers. Okay? You like them, that's your business, more power to you. Got no problem with it. Just don't expect me to be jumping in there going, yippee, they won! I don't care. Simple as that. I do not care. I know people who, when Earnhardt was alive, you said the slightest word out of kilter. I mean, they'd fight, man. And I was like, why? You know, why are you so daggone ready to fight? I don't care if you won or lost. I'm just kidding with you. Well, they were serious. I mean, they were deadly serious. But, you know, I suppose I'm the same way about my Mack trucks. I love them more than any other brand. But I've got something that they sports fans don't. You know what that is? That sucker makes me money, a lot of money. And it doesn't break down all the time like Volvos and Peterbilts and everything in between. And I don't like Peterbilt on account of the attitude of most of the drivers. It's not necessarily the manufacturer, you know, the fault of the truck or the manufacturer. Just certain people I've dealt with over the years who drive their vehicle. Alrighty then. Let's see. This can't be really considered a field expedient like my shelter money, because, of course, I'm not in the field. This is before. This is just something saying, hey, you don't have to be rich, you know, to build yourself equipment that'll work, okay? And I haven't done this in a while, and I think I've done screwed this one up. It's awful close. No, I didn't. Okay, we're good to go. Just thought I'd screwed it up a little bit. Most people would be amazed at how something simple like this will actually last. And it'll do better than a lot of this Chinese manufactured junk we get nowadays here in the United States. And for you folks in China who may be translating this and get offended, look, I'm sorry. The workmanship is not there for a lot of your products that you sell. My TV, I used to have an RCA. All right, I started off buying RCA. That was my daddy's brand, and I said, if it's good enough for my daddy, it's good enough for me. I don't agree with him on Ford pickups. I don't agree with him. I didn't agree with him on Ford cars, but on electronics, he had electronics for years that were RCA, never gave him a lick of trouble. And I thought, like I said, it's good enough for Daddy, it's good enough for me. Alright, critical thing here. It's going to get real tight when you tape it up around this way. Okay, it's going to get very tight. So what you need to do now is bend the outside walls, flex them out just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit, and it'll keep it from collapsing and getting so tight on the blade that you cannot do any damn thing with it. I should have already flexed them a little bit before I did that. Okay? But I did not. Start from whatever you think is going to be the bottom. And like I said, this is just an idea my buddy Joe came up with about the video. But you overlap the tape pretty much like you do shingles, and it'll keep water from getting under the tape. Working your way up, and the top wrap, you're going to straighten it out so there's not so much angle in it. You're going to get a couple of bubbles in there. Wrap it several times. Take a plate, put it on the cardboard side. Alright, just like this here. And I think I have really made this thing tight. So I'm going to have to do something about that. I don't feel any goo on there, so apparently I haven't got it too small.